Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name's Luke and here on this channel we talk about fragrance, perfume, scent, focusing on designer, vintage and affordable fragrances. If that's something you're interested in, please consider subscribing. In today's video, I'll talk about the newest flanker of J'adore l'or from Dior, which was created by perfumer Francis Kurkdjian. I'll compare it to the previous version that was released in 2010. There was another one released in 2017, but that one was very similar to the 2010 version. The one I have is 2017, and I used to enjoy the 2010 as well. I've had this fragrance for about 5 years, and I also have a backup because it's one of my favorite fragrances of all time. It was created by François Desmarchis, whereas the new version was created by, as I said, Francis Kurkdjian. So let's compare them. Let's talk about these fragrances. Is the new one still good? Have they butchered it? If you want to find out, please continue to watch. So if you're a regular on my channel, you probably know that J'adore l'or, or J'adore l'or, which means I adore gold, is one of my favorite fragrances of all time. I've been using it since 2016 or 2017, I'm not entirely sure, and it was love at first sniff. When I first tried it, I thought it was the most luxurious smelling fragrance I'd ever tried. I won't talk about it at great length in this video just because I want to focus on the 2023 version, but let me just say that this scent is a warm, rich, and expensive smelling fragrance. It's an incredibly refined, it's a high-end fragrance. It smells like $1 million. It's a floriental, an amber, floral, vanilla scent with notes of tuberose, rose, jasmine, ylang-ylang, vanilla, and tonka bean. And this is a composition made in heaven. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's sweet, but also very elegant, classic, sophisticated. It's very luxurious. It's intoxicating, sensual, expensive smelling. It's just liquid gold and it's incredibly potent. The performance is outstanding. The quality of this formula, of this juice, is just something else. It's up there with all the other niche fragrances. The jasmine and the rose were actually sourced from grass, while the vanilla is from Tahiti. I absolutely adore this fragrance. I wish I had 10 backup bottles. Unfortunately, I only have one. But we're not here to talk about this one. Let's focus on the new release. The 2023 version, which was created by Francis Kurkdjian, who is now the perfumer behind the house of Dior, but he also has his own perfume company. And I guess he's just a really popular perfumer. He has a bunch of other popular creations in his repertoire. I have to be honest with you, his fragrances usually don't agree with me. I don't really care for Baccarat. I don't really care for Oud Satin Mood. I don't really like Burberry Her. But that's beside the point. Let's focus on J'adore l'or. And even though I generally don't like his creations, I give credit where it is due. So I don't want you to think that I'm biased just because I don't like his creations in general. I like some of them, but most of them aren't for me. But back to J'adore l'or 2023. This fragrance opens floral, fresh, slightly fruity, and also quite soapy to my nose. I can smell the jasmine, the orange blossom, the violet, and some peachy fruitiness, which isn't listed in the notes, but I can definitely smell it. I can smell peach, For some reason, I can smell a fruity peach note. But the florals are definitely at the forefront. This is a floral fragrance. This is jasmine, violet, and orange blossom. We don't get any other notes listed, neither on the Dior website nor on Fragrantica. There are probably other notes, we don't know. But this just, to me, smells very similar to the original J'adore, but much sweeter, much more opulent, and much more sophisticated. I'm not a fan of the original J'adore. It's just too shampooey for me. It's just a fruity floral, a fresh fruity floral. It's a beautiful fragrance, but it's just not for me. But this one, even though it's also kind of a fresh floral, it's much richer, much deeper, much stronger. And even though it's not vanillic and ambery like the old version of J'adore l'or, it's still a nice, inoffensive floral that packs a punch. It's nice and inoffensive and very sweet. The sweetness has been amped up in this one for sure. And I have to say, it does smell like a Dior fragrance, but it's missing that extravaganza of the original L'Or. And it's missing that va-va-voom. It's missing that wow factor. But it's still a very nice fragrance, and I really enjoy wearing it. It's also quite mass appealing. It won't be for everyone because not all people like white flowers, but if you like jasmine, this is a very safe choice, I think. No one is going to hate this one because it's just a nice, inoffensive, pleasant, sweet and soapy floral with jasmine, orange blossom and violet, some fruitiness. It's just a very pleasant fragrance, but a very strong one because this is essence de parfum. This is not eau de parfum, this is essence de parfum, so it's perfume essence. And you don't need more than 4 sprays of this one because this is so incredibly potent. It feels light and fresh and floral and soapy, but don't let that fool you because this is a very, very strong fragrance. It's nuclear. The first time I wore it, I sprayed around 6 sprays and it managed to last 24 hours on me. It lasted through 2 showers and I was still smelling it. It was still wafting. It was still on my skin. So keep that in mind. And I'm not saying it will last 24 hours on you. Some people have a different experience and that's okay. Some people complain on Fragrantica that this one doesn't last at all. And I don't really believe that because it's such a potent fragrance. Some people just like to bash every single new release just because they're, frustrated because it was reformulated. Well, guess what? I'm frustrated too, but I still tried it with an open mind. I tried it and I ended up liking it a lot. And I picked up this partial bottle, which was a complete coincidence. I wasn't planning on buying it, but I saw a partial bottle for a very good price and I just couldn't say no. I couldn't say no. Let's talk about some fragrances that this fragrance reminds me of. As I said, it reminds me of the original J'adore EDP from the 90s. It definitely has some of the original DNA, but the scent is sweeter and 100 times better if you ask me. So if you like the original J'adore, definitely try this one. It's sweeter, it's more modern smelling, and to be honest, it smells more like a typical designer fragrance. And the first time I sprayed this on, I thought it reminded me of Alien Goddess for some reason, which has the same DNA as the original Alien. And guess what? Over 100 people on Fragrantica agree that it smells similar to the original Alien. And I have to say, I haven't smelled Alien in a while, but I'm very familiar with the original Alien. And I also tried the reformulated version a couple of times. And this to me smells more like the reformulated Alien, the current Alien. It's definitely not the same fragrance as Alien, but it has that overdose of jasmine, which probably makes it similar to Alien. And now, the $1,000,000 question. Does this compare to the original version of J'adore l'or? Unfortunately, it doesn't. To my nose, it's a completely different fragrance. It's likable, it's pleasant, it's a decent performer, but it doesn't compare to the original J'adore because they're not even similar. So even though I tried it with an open mind and even though I like it, I don't like that they kept the same name and I don't like that they discontinued the previous version very quietly and just released a new one. And as you know, most people in the fragrance community aren't really pleased with Dior's constant reformulating and re-releasing of classic fragrances. I'm also not the biggest fan of the new bottle. The previous bottle was inspired by the famous Messiah necklace from the John Galliano era of Dior. And the new bottle just looks kind of dull compared to the old one. So even though I'm not the biggest fan of the bottle, I do really like the scent. I think it's a nice, inoffensive fragrance. It's nowhere near as sophisticated and expensive smelling as the original J'adore l'Or, but it's a nice one and I'm glad I picked up a partial bottle. So let's end this video on that note. Let me know what you think of the new J'adore l'Or down in the comments. Have you tried any of the old versions? I'm curious to know. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.